Welcome back to Outnumbered. President Obama getting slammed by journalists who say he's doing the opposite of what he promised during his campaign. Remember this?
I have a track record of transparency.
I'll make our government open and transparent.
We'll do it in a transparent way
I want transparency. I want accountability.
so that the American people can be involved in their own government. Let me say it as simply as I can. Transparency and the rule of law will be the touchstones of this presidency.
This is the most transparent administration in history.
But now, 38 journalism groups, led by the Society of Professional Journalists, sent the president a letter saying, "You recently expressed concern that frustration in the country is breeding cynicism about democratic government. You need look no further than your own administration for a major source of that frustration: politically driven suppression of news and information about federal agencies." The administration has dismissed similar charges in the past. Wow, that's pretty harsh.
Pretty harsh. You know, watch O'Reilly every night. He's banging on the media for not being on these stories. And now you have 38 different news organizations. That is well, that's a majority when you count up everybody that's working in Washington, D.C. I thought that was interesting. And I thought this other story that came out with Lisa Myers, the former investigative correspondent for NBC News, long time, big credibility. She backed up Cheryl Atkinson's claim.
Oh, wow.
Who left CBS just recently, that the media is not pushing this administration the way they did the Bush team. If you read this letter from the Society of Professional Journalists, if you read it, they go back 15 or 20 years, but they have strong and harsh criticism for this administration.
Well, and Cheryl Atkinson in particular was focused on getting the truth about Benghazi and our hit on the U.S. consulate there. And just this week, we talked about it here on the couch, how we're going to have to spend millions of dollars to try to get the investigative truth out of that whole situation. So not only are we talking about opaque with the administration and accusations of that, but expensive to get to transparency.
But also, I mean, Sandra, doesn't this seem like something that maybe they should have complained about sooner? It's sort of strange that they're just complaining about it now. But I mean, the letter now finally comes. I mean, do you think that they should have done it
maybe
sooner?
now that they've got 38 journalism groups together on this? What I thought was interesting was not only did they go after the president for his censoring of media coverage, but they went on in the letter to say that at the same time that reporters have been cut off, the administration's opened doors to lobbyists, special interests, and people with money. It was really a scathing letter, and I would say that an attack on the president by journalists is unprecedented for any White House. I don't know that it's going to enact any change.
Well, and also, Kimberly, for a White House, let's face it, the media has been pretty nice to. Like, you would think that they would be working with them, right? I mean, why would you have to hold them so at bay? It would kind of make sense if it was maybe George Bush, who the media really didn't like and was really after. But why does Obama need to hold them so at bay and not, not give them access?
Well, it's disturbing on a lot of levels, right? Because this was the banner issue, one of the things they campaigned on, that they were going to do, business and politics in D.C. in a far different way. They were going to be very transparent. There was going to be open access. They weren't going to be secretive or duplicitous. And unfortunately, the facts and the time that they have been there has just not proved that to be the case. And we're seeing that now with the holding centers and the media being denied access. This is just another glaring example of how they play it their way on a different level.
I think the pressure is going to be on to change that this weekend. I think you watch that.
Too.
But saying transparency is a lot easier than doing it, as we have found out. One thing that really disturbs me about this letter: federal agencies blackballing reporters who are critical. You cannot allow that to happen in a functioning democracy if you expect government to work.
It also baits the reporters, because if they weren't looking hard before, they're going to look even harder.
And this treatment of the media by this White House could have a big impact on Hillary Clinton's potential run as well.
Yes, 2014 and 2016. Let's see how that plays out, given these concerns. Okay.